Hi, this is Cathy Zukimoto with IdeateTV, and I'm here with
Heather Theurer.
who is an extremely talented artist. Caught my eye as I was walking by, and as you can see why. It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
It is amazing. Now, how long does it take you to do one of these?
Well, that's a little deceiving. The original, none of these are originals, these are all reproductions, but the original of that piece, which was that size, took me about 9 days.
Wow. And did you start off this because you just love this world? You love the fantasy world?
You know what's the crazy thing? I didn't start out as a wildlife artist. I mean, I started out as a wildlife artist, not a fantasy artist. And I didn't want to be a fantasy artist, not since I was like 12. And this might burn me at some point or another, but I didn't want to do that. I thought, no, that's like the fake art. I want to do the real stuff. Anyway, so a friend of mine came up to me and he says, "Oh, I love your wildlife. I think that you could do fantasy creatures really well." And I said, "Yeah, okay." And he said, "Well, if I paid you, would you do it?" And I said, "Okay." You know, the dollar speaks, right? So I started doing this cover for a novel he'd written that had all these fantasy creatures in it. And I finished it, and I was proud of the piece. I thought it was really good, and he really liked it. And he says, "You should get in Comic-Con." And I said, what? I didn't know what that was. Right. And he says, "Don't worry about it, I'll get you in." So he got me into Artist Alley and Comic-Con that year. And this has been, come this summer, that was 17 years ago that I've been doing Comic-Con.
Wow.
So
17 years.
It's been a long time. Anyway, so the first couple of years I struggled. I was like, I'm not sure this is really what I want to do because I wasn't really feeling it. But then it hit me what I loved about doing fantasy art. And it wasn't just about creating a dragon or a fairy or whatever. It was that you can infuse life into those things that is very difficult to interpret in realistic things. So what I did was my fantasy art became symbolic, and then it was meaningful to me. And then I was like, I will never go back and do... I mean, I still do wildlife, horses, things like that, but I will never stop doing fantasy now. It's become my favorite thing to do.
It sounds like you found your heart and you put it in your work.
I did. And it took a little bit of prodding and a couple of dollars.
Exactly. So what medium do you work in when you do your originals?
Oils.
Oils.
Yeah.
And is that why it takes 9 days? You got to wait for the first layer to dry? And
no, 9 days actually for most people, they'd be like, 9 days? That's not very long. And especially not for oils because it takes a long time to draw. Now it takes me a lot longer because these paintings, when I did, this one was done in 2010, so it's been a while. And the painting, when I did these ones, it's just straight up oil paint. There's no glazing, no anything. So it was a lot faster. Plus, at the time I was living in Vegas, so all I had to do was like stick it in my car and bake it for an hour, and it would be done. Now I live in Portland, so a little bit harder to do. Lots of humidity and a little cooler, so it takes longer to get some painting done. And now, like with some of my other works, there's a lot, upwards of 20 layers of glazing, so it takes a lot longer. Paintings will take a month or two now, whereas before it might have only taken me a couple of weeks, something like that. So it's a little bit different.
I can say this stuff is absolutely beautiful. If you have a chance, please go check out her website. It is just gorgeous, and the fact that she loves what she does now, it really shows. It's seriously, it's just gorgeous. I'm seeing them in person. It's hard to describe. Go see her work in person if you can.
Thank you very much.
Of course.